Hi, my name is Kevon Allen, and I'm an aspiring elementary school teacher. One of my beliefs when it comes to the classroom is the idea that when it comes to a student's uniqueness, it should not only be celebrated, but also be used in their learning as well. This is one of the reasons why, for me, I also want to make sure that it's a classroom that both the student and the teachers can be able to learn from each other. We work together as a community to be able to learn and figure out the best ways for the students to be able to take charge of their learning. It should be a classroom that inspires individuality when it comes to how they learn and how and what steps do they take to be able to learn the way that fits them best. And as their teacher, I would want to be able to guide them in that process. Another thing that I believe is that when it comes to teaching, there should also be a personal touch when it comes to the classroom setting. It shouldn't be a thing where you have to act as if the kids can't know anything about you. Because the way that I think is if kids know more a little bit about you, it builds trust. One of the ways that I would want to do this and incorporate this is to use comic books and pop culture media in the classroom. Nowadays, it's something that every person is influenced by or sees in their everyday lives. And it's something that all kids have enjoy in some way, shape, or form. And I believe that the best way to be able to help them engage is by using them in the classroom. Stuff like Tim Smith has been talking about teaching with comics and graphic novels in the past before. And there's a lot of examples where you can be able to use pop culture media in the everyday classroom. Stuff like use talking about history through comics, like talking about the Tuskegee experiment through the eyes of the Marvel universe, where instead of it just being random tests, they're trying to use black soldiers to figure out the next super soldier serum. Or helping kids learn about comparing and contrasting by having them look at stories such as this Twisted Tales book. And it's one where they will take Disney stories that they already know and will turn it on its head by giving them a different idea. This one being one like, what if Tiana actually made a deal with Dr. Facilier rather than deciding to just do it solely on hard work? It makes it so that they would have to compare what they know to what's happening in the story. And there's other ways that you can be able to pull pop culture into the classroom as well. But those are some of the ways that I would do it. I think that it would be a great idea because it would make it so that the kids would have fun using things that they already love and being able to apply it into the classroom and keep the day interesting. Plus, it helps them be able to bring their interest in the way they like to learn to make things a lot better and help them be able to be in control of their teaching more often than just me leading out. When it comes to technology, I'm definitely an advocate of the idea that using technology can be a great asset and also can be able to be an extra tool and extra help when it comes to teaching the students. For instance, not just only having visual aids, but also making it so that way kids have more access to the things that they need to know for school, any place, anytime. Plus, it is safer for the environment because you use less paper. Kids nowadays like to use their screens anyway, and while it is a good idea to always switch things up, it allows them to be able to have more than just one way to be able to learn by using multiple activities that could be used on the computer. One of the other things that I like to believe would be a great help is by me recording myself and teaching the lesson plans, having it so that it plays in the classroom while I can be able to go and help the students be able to understand what's going on. If they have any questions, we can be able to discuss what happens afterwards. And it allows them to then have that same video and be able to be used into their Google Canvas, their classroom, and have access to it at any time that they need to when they're doing their homework. And not only that, but also have the parent have that resource as well when it comes to having to help with their students. So that way they have an idea of how to be able to help their student the best way possible so that they can be able to not feel so lost. My favorite ISTE standard would definitely have to be 2.7.C, and it discusses the idea of using assessment data to guide the progress of a student and be able to communicate with the student, the parent, and any other individuals involved on how to be able to build the student and also be able to help them gain the ability of student self-direction, having more control over how what they need to be able to do to learn, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and how to be able to perfect it and fine tune it. This all allows me to not only teach the children or the students, but it also allows me to be able to know what specifically we need to go over in the class. So that way we can have a better idea of what we're going over. It helps people not feel so lost. It helps them not feel behind and they feel more ready when it comes to assessments. That way, when they need to be able to do more or know like what needs to be done, they have a better idea because using technology, we can be able to assess what's going on or what they are struggling with. And it helps them be able to have more responsibility when it comes to maintaining their learning. Finally, when it comes to how would I provide technology to the students, I say that this is a very easy one because of the pandemic. Nowadays, all students have access to Chromebooks and laptops. I would definitely make sure that there are resources that can be used to make sure that if they need to use their Chromebook, but it's unfortunately not charged, that there's a charging station that makes it so that they can be able to have up to two students that can be able to charge their Chromebook at a time, but make it so that they are not distracting each other in that process. Another thing would also be to, of course, just to remind them to charge their laptops at all times or every night before they come to school. It makes it so that they are responsible with their technology as well. I would want to have a smart board, and that would help with just being able to find more creative ways to be able to teach, using fun activities, things to be able to keep them on task, stuff like using Dreambox or Cool Maths to help them have fun learning activities that keep them engaged but don't have them too distracted. And when it comes to different technologies that can also be used, most things I would hope that would be provided by our administrators. However, if there is anything that I would need to add in terms of the technology that we would use, I would definitely look into it myself personally, figure out what things work for the classroom and what can't, and ultimately have it so that way the technology is a great asset in the classroom. It makes things more efficient if you know how it's supposed to be used. It makes it so you have more creative ways for the students to be able to learn. Sometimes being able to, if a student has access to a phone, having it so that maybe they do group projects where they can make their own TikToks based off of whatever subject they're going over, and makes it so that they can be able to have fun with their devices while also making sure that they stay on task because it allows them to have more creativity and more fun. It always is a trial and error subject, but helping them be able to find fun ways to be able to express their knowledge over a subject is always something that should be aspired to. And technology nowadays takes such impact over our lives that the best thing to do is just find ways for us to be able to benefit us in the classroom and make it so that way we can be more advanced teachers in the modern world. With that, without further ado, My name is Kevon Allen. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I will see you out there. Stay safe.